शरीरम स्वर्गनरकौ बन्धमोक्षौ भयं तथा कल्पना मात्रमेवैतत् किं मे कार्यं चिदात्मनः. He says, look, when I understand the karya karana sambandha, so what is karya? That is visible, that is experienced. What is karanam? That which is not visible, that is me, ityartha. So that means drushya vastu called karya, drashta becomes karana. So once I understand the relationship between karya, karana sambandha, then what happens? I don't hold on to karyam, I always try to see karana. This is the whole contemplation. Because actually I have been thinking, as I have been working on this Ishavasya Upanishad in last 2 days, I am crazy. Ishavasya Upanishad rewriting in Odia language. I do not know why I got into big mess. So I was polishing my Odia. Don't ask me, okay, where am I, what I am doing. I was working on this concept in me. When you don't have relative freedom, when you are not relatively making yourself free from the clutches of the problem that you think that they are problem, how can you understand the Brahman Atman? Seriously, I was thinking, especially last year, I have been watching myself. Like, everybody attacked me, organization from all the angle. Maybe it was a memorable year for me, I can say openly. But thank God to the teaching that because of teaching, instead of getting carried away, some confusion was there with reference to playing the role, not with the karya karana. I am just honestly expressing myself. Because deep within, I was asking myself all the time, hey, what am I doing? Is it my cup of tea? What more I started things and what is happening? And if this is the case, why should I? But as you know, that the surrounding, especially in the level of Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika, did not support me. I am talking all the technical words, okay? Okay, finally what I had to do, let me go through, enjoy. What else to do? So these are the practical point to look at in life. Because this is not a classroom, just, time pass or attendance or escaping, because I remember in especially university days what we do. So you have to go to, if you are not that big fellow, for attendance sake. So the moment attendance comes, then get out. In fact, those days the professors will be very smart. They will not take attendance. Sometimes they will take in the last or in middle. Because if they take always fast, so the moment attendance is over, backside, you get out. You understand? But those who really be in the class for study's sake, in fact, they not only enjoy the class, they enjoy their life. Whereas those who were bank bencher, they enjoyed that time. But don't ask me what happened, okay? Okay, of course there are some smart guys. They enjoy much better life than those who become studious, okay? But that is exception. Why I am highlighting these aspects? This verse actually reminds me more and more about the teaching and about the lifestyle. Because if I look at, most important thing is my kalpana, my projection. Okay, you can imagine, but don't project, okay? There is a difference between imagination and projection. A simple English. If my projection is a reality for me, will I be able to look at the truth? And please have a look at the life. Yes, life teaches us in a very hard way. The more you try to avoid with the teaching, don't worry, the life will be harsh to test your knowledge. Because we all expect to become hero, living the lifestyle of a villain. Like, I want to be accepted, respected like Rama, but my lifestyle must be like Ravana. Command, demand, whatnot. Will it be possible? That's why I need to look at every moment, whether it is my kalpana or reality. It is exactly like when a person is psychologically disturbed. For that person, there are two realities. The realities that are visible in front of eyes and the conclusion based on the projection. Now, the conclusion based on the projection is more powerful than the person experiencing or facing. Is it clear? Now, for that, what is to be done? Generally, what we do? I go to a psychologist. Maybe the psychologist will say some of your points or try to show a mirror, try to allow you to talk or try to see your points by yourself. finally you have to see your mistakes, where you are projecting and why you are projecting and how you are projecting. Imagine if this process is not being done properly, carefully, then how can you see the deep second layer of reality and the truth? What we call as Paramarthika Satya and Vyavaharika Satya. Because remember, you can use this word if you want to. So that is the first layer is what? My kalpana, you can say individualistic satyam, personal satyam, okay, and vyavaharika satyam. Is it clear? Transactional truth and my own truth. And when there is conflict, my own truth is truth, the truth, than the Vyavaharika truth. There, what happens? I need the help of a psychologist or somebody who can take care of. Of course, earlier we didn't have any psychologist. And no need also. But we had Karma Yoga. Strictly we ask those set of people that you need to do karma with the guidance of somebody with the surrender attitude. Not that surrendering without guidance, then you go other way around. It's very delicate matter. And when you try to see that your personal satyam, personal truth, which is nothing but projection, becomes secondary, or you can say fades away, becomes weaker in front of Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional truth, that time your mind becomes healthy. Observe this point very carefully. In fact, that is what is being taught in Vedanta, called Chitta Suddhi. The terminology that we use, Chitta Suddhi, is nothing where you understand or you give importance to the Vyavaharika Satyam than to your personal projection. But that does not mean you will have peace. That's why we say Chitta Suddhi and Chitta Santi, there are differences. We have discussed all these things in details, okay? Chitta Suddhi and Chitta Shanti. People work for Chitta Suddhi and they expect there will be Shanti. It is not possible because both are technically different. I can have Chitta Suddhi, but that does not mean that I will be peaceful. And sometimes I'll say, look, I am the most purified person. I am the most holy person because I have full of holes, okay? And you all are not that holy. Don't touch me, don't touch me. Now, in this process, will I have Chitta Santi? That's why Shastra says for Chitta Santi, Upasana. Karma Yoga for Chitta Suddhi. And Upasana for Chitta Shanti. When these two are together, both Karma Yoga and Upasana, then only the person becomes a jigyasu, or you can say a person becomes prepared for Shravana, Mananam, Nitidhyasana. We are in the chapter of Nitidhyasana. That means I will hope all these things are with you with reference to some percentage or other, okay? If not complete, at least starting with 1%, 2%, 3%, okay? You can keep increasing, but it should not fluctuate, okay? Today 50%, Swamiji, today was 50%, but tomorrow I don't think it will be 50. It may go down to 20, 30. Oh, that's cool. Swamiji, today 100%. Wow, that's great. In 1 second, Swamiji, going down to 20. Here we need the graph, gradual growth graph, not fluctuating graph. With this, now let us go to the verse. So he says, look, Shariram Surga Narakau Bandha Moksho Tatha Bhayam Etat Sarvam Kalpana Matram Eva. Why? Chidatmanah me kim karyamiti. He says, look, Chidatmanah, this is very nice, okay? Chidatmanah. So Chidatmanah means what? So I am somebody, me. Chidatmanah. So that means me ki karyam. The person who is Chit Atmanah, Chidatmanah, means Chit Atma Yasyaha. So whose nature is consciousness. Now this me, now please understand what is there for me to do. And who is that me? Whose nature is consciousness. And now he says, what is that? He says, look, Shariram. Very nicely, with reference to the body, heaven and hell, bondage and liberation, and even fear. Sariram, Surga Narako, Bandhamoksho, Bhayam Tatha. What are they? He says, Kalpana Matramiti. This is mere imagination. Why? Please understand. He says, look, all are vyavahara gochara. They are available for vyavaharam, for transactions. And of course, sarvam dvaita adhishtitam. All these vyavahara transactions completely depends upon duality. If there are no two things or more than two things, can there be any fear? That's why I say, Dvaite bhayam asti, advaite bhayam nasti. In duality, there is fear. That's why I want to make sure to become free from fear. I want to be number one so that I don't want to keep any competitor. This is the present world. Just to be free from fear, I don't want any competition. How? By wiping out all competitor in any means. That is how people try to destroy everybody, including themselves. Not because of anything, because they want Advaita without knowing what is Advaita. So I am the most important person. Hey, as you are important, others also know. I am the important person. There is nobody, okay? And of course, I see there is one organization feeds you to think that you are the important person, okay? Some of you are in that organization, okay? What can I do? In fact, I am now little, I notice, at least I respect, with due respect to Amazon, I respect Amazon that at least they give you this thought, you are the important. And for that they pay you. The extract pay you, no doubt it. At least financially, you are good, even though intellectually you are gone case. Emotionally, let us not talk. But religious organization, to me, is worse than Amazon. They do the same thing without payment. On the top of it, they extract. Do you understand what I am trying to say? Because I was watching some videos, some organization, that's why this thought came. And some of you also suggest me, Swamiji, we should entertain people. We should make them feel important. Swamiji, people are not with us because you don't respect, you don't accept, you don't allow them to dance. Hey, I don't allow them to dance or I don't allow you to dance. First ask the question honestly. I don't give the importance or you feel you are not getting importance. Ask the question to yourself first. It's a serious issue. Because, remember, if you are a student, be a student. And don't become my teacher. And if you want to be my teacher, please be teacher. I'll be happy. Be very clear, okay? However, let me not get into, because today I am in a, after 3-4 days of class, a lot of study, a lot of work I have done. Na? So that's why I am in this. Anyway. So he says, look, then all these things are kalpana matram. Why kalpana? Why it is imagination? Because it is ajnana kalpitam. It is born out of what? Ajnanam, ignorance. It is exactly like when you visualize, when you come to a conclusion, or when you talk something about the object that is in darkness. You give discourses. In fact, you call fire brigadier. You call so many things, so many people, because in dark, I could see there is a snake. Because why? Sound comes. So you have called huge snake also. And once in a while, very nice. Now you have called the neighbor, you call everybody, and some neighbors also support, yes, yes, yes. And especially being a woman, hey look, poor lady, what to do, what not to do. Let us call fire brigadier. After fire brigadier comes, they bring the light to see, then finally they discovered, you know what? Something really big, wow, covered. And they discovered, husband is sleeping and snoring. You understand? It is called Ajnana Kalpitam. You understand? So that is called Andhara Kalpitam. That is imagined out of darkness. Here, imagination is based on your ignorance. Can you see the difference? But you feel, oh, I could manage to call the fire brigadier everything on time. Yes, yes. Now, secondly, he says, look, na vastutah satyam iti. In reality, it is not truth at all. Because of avidya, avidyaya, dehatma buddhya avagamyate. So if you observe, because of ignorance, now there is adhyasam, there is superimposition, and because of superimposition, I consider myself as a body-mind complex. Then I say, I am born, I am alive, I am going to die. After my death, there is heaven or there is hell. Now I have to work for this, I have to work for that. All these things continues as long as I am under the spell of what? Ignorance. And once I understand, hey, look, I am not. I am what? Chidatmanaha. So when I am Chidatmanaha, that means what? My Atma, Chit Atma Yasyaha. So whose nature is consciousness. Now all these things falsifies. For them, they are not important at all. Just observe this point very carefully. That's why what need to do? He says, look, for this, one has to understand that bhayam is nothing dvaitajanyam. The fear is born out of duality. And what I need to do? I need to look at my kalpana. And more I resolve my kalpana, I will discover my transaction also will be lesser and lesser. That is called intelligent way of living. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.